morning. How y'all talk about some books? And yeah, we're here for Beard Book Talk. This is, I think, episode 22, where I basically show you what I read, what I got, what I'm gonna read, and yeah, it's Monday. It's cold again. It's a little bit of a Super Bowl Sunday hangover. I mean, not really, but a little bit. And here we are. We're back to work. So, the stuff I read this week, I finished a Game of Thrones. Um, Finished this. This is a reread for me. The furthest I got the first time around was like halfway through A Clash of Kings. I mean, I've watched the entire show, I think, twice. I clearly like the story. But I got this cool set, and I wanted to actually read through them, and I'm doing them in audio. And audio is I'm not good at it. So I do a lot of rereads and things where I kind of already know the story. So, and I say that often, so often, so often, but I also get here and I'm like, oh, well, whoever's watching this, maybe this is the first time. Anyway, you get where my head's at. So repetitive, I know, but I suck at audio, so I do a lot of rereads. So, I am doing this series. So I finished the Game of Thrones and I put a video out about it last week. And to be honest with you, I kind of rushed into it, like I didn't have any content, and I finished this and I was like, I want to talk about it and get it out there. And I kind of crammed it in and got going. And it's hard to talk about because you feel that, I mean, everybody knows the gist of the story, or you think they do. I mean, the show is so dead on the book. I mean, at least in my opinion, there were a couple minor things that I kind of don't remember from the show, and I was like, oh, okay, but I really did a horrible job talking about it. Matter of fact, I started talking about like the way the chapters are broke up into characters and like which characters had chapters, and the vast majority of them are Stark people, right? Like there's Eddard and Catelyn and Arya and Sansa and Jon Snow, and they all have chapters that we go back and forth to these characters. And then there's Tyrion, and I was like, and I think I completely forgot Daenerys altogether, and so that was pretty stupid. But anyway, so I did put a video out for this. I might take it down and redo it, but I finished a Game of Thrones. Now I'm not halfway through. I'm a couple hundred pages into A Clash of Kings now. So this is the next one I'm doing on audio. I finished the third book in my Pulitzer project. This is Trust by Hernan Diaz. This is my physical read. I really liked this book. It's a really cool storytelling style. It takes place around like the early 1920s, like around the what am I thinking of? Like the stock market crash and all that of 1929, which I'm pretty sure led into the Great Depression. But it's about this financier and his wife, and I know that doesn't sound interesting at all, um, but it's written in a way that was super interesting to me. So I really like this. I'm at 4 stars. I mean, as far as my three Pulitzer prize winning books that I've done this year go, I mean it's second, right in the middle. It's not Demon Copperhead, but it's my second favorite so far. So enjoyed this book, and then I finished that, and like I said, I like to kind of just pick something light up before going into another. I guess definitely before going into another Pulitzer book, but anyway, so I picked up Quicksand House by Carlton Mellick. And to be honest with you, this is my sixth Mellick read in the last 6-ish months. And I kind of had the feeling I was done. Like I kind of had the feeling that I was not going to continue on this Mellick quest or whatever. And this is my favorite one. This has been my favorite book that I've read by Carlton Mellick. So now I'm back on it, and I've gone out and I've picked out a couple more. But this is the longest of the Mellick books I've read, being like 200, a little bit over 200 pages. But the depth of story here and the setting is just wild. And so yeah, so I'm going to be talking about this. I'm going to have a full review for this book coming. But yeah, definitely my favorite Melick read, and just a cool atmosphere to this one. So I mean, there's still a lot of the absurdity, but I found like that was, I don't know, this is not the right way to say it, but I found like that was toned down, and the focus here really was story, you know. And but anyway, I really dug this one, Quicksand House. So it's going to be a 4-star read too. Up to this point, all the Melick books I've read, I mean, I've liked, but they've all been, you know, varying ranges of 3 stars. This will be the first 4-star Carlton Melick book that I've read, and that's it. That's the stuff that I read. Like I'm not really prepared here to kind of, I guess, show you what I'm going to read. I'm pretty sure my next novel is Smoke City by Keith Rawson. It'll be my final Keith Rawson book to get me completely caught up. A big fan of his work. I've talked about that multiple times. I don't have it here to wave around, but you know, he had a 2-book series, Fever House and Devil something. This should be right up there. Let me see. They're up here somewhere. Oh, they're right there. Devil by Name, Fever House, and Devil by Name. It's a 2-book series. I like those books, but my favorites have been Road 7, which was my first Rawson read ever. I really like that book. I think I 5-star liked it, but it's the only one that I read like 3 years ago or so. The rest of the books I've read like right now. The Mercy of the Tide, his first novel, I loved that one, 5-star, loved it. And then his short story collection, Folk Songs for Trauma Surgeons, really liked that. Like 4-star, liked it, but the first 6 or 7 stories for me were 5 stars, and then, you know, so. But big fan of his work. So I've only got Smoke City left, and that is the. I mean, I've actually cracked the, you know, and read the what do you call it, the dedication, and put my bookmark in there. So that is the next book that I'm reading. Now after that, and this is something I got. Again, I'm working through the Pulitzer Prize winning books backwards. So I did 2024. I did the 2 books that won in 2023, and next is this book, The Netanyahus, which sounds nonfiction to me just because of the Netanyahus, but The Netanyahus by Joshua Cohen. Um, this is the winner for 2022. And like I said, I just picked this up, just got this in the mail, and it'll be the book I'm probably going to read after Keith Rawson's Smoke City. So, um, as far as audio, like I said, I'm Clash of Kings. When I finish that, I probably will break that up with something else. Maybe go back and do a Stephen King reread or something. But yeah. So I think that's it. I mean, I've got a short story collection that I've been working on forever, that I'm going to read some more in, and try to wrap up and then dig into something else short story wise, but haven't really thought that through yet. So, I really didn't get a lot of books this week. I mean, I did, but it's because I'm creative with my book buying. I I went to a Dollar Tree. Like I just ran into a Dollar Tree. Like it was one in northern Kentucky, like in more of a city, right on the edge of Cincinnati. Like our Dollar Tree, where I don't have a Dollar Tree, but the Dollar Tree that's like 30 minutes away that we go to, they often don't have books, or not very many. But I go look, you know, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're $1.25 a piece. Now I used to. I guess I would probably tell you. Well, first of all, I'm a cheap bastard, but I would probably tell you that, you know, I used to do more of my like just unchecked book buying at Goodwill, because Goodwill books used to be 99 cents and now they're like $1.59, and so that 60 cents really makes you be selective in the books that you pick up. But so anyway, I went to a Dollar Tree. They had, you know, some books that stood out, and for $1.25, you know, if it's an author I know, or if it's an, you know, something that I might ever read, I grab it. And I'm sitting here looking at this stack, and I don't know that I'm ever gonna read any of these books, but I bought them, and I know that there's a name for that, and I know that I am that person. I think it's bibliomania. Like I know there's another like Japanese word that talks about buying more books than you'll ever read, but I don't think that encompasses the level of my bibliomania. But anyway, so I picked up like six. Actually, I picked up seven books, but one of them I grabbed for my wife, so I'm not going to bother showing you that. But I got Termination Shock by Neil Stevenson. I mean, again, these are, other than the fact that they put the ugly ass stickers on it, I mean, they're pretty much brand new hardcovers. Somebody somewhere, or this was on the shelf for $27 to somebody at some point. I don't know. I got Home is Not a Country by Sophia El Hilo. Sophia El Hilo. Um, I got Arch Conspirator by Veronica Roth. Now I know that I've read something by Veronica Roth. What was it? Drawing a blank on the name of the series. I think it was the three book series that there was movies made out of. Uh, drawing a blank. And I am positive that I've read something by Veronica Roth. This is a short book. It's Arch Conspirator. Doomed from the Start, All of Us. I don't know. I might actually read this one because it's short, and I know that I've read Roth. Let me see if it tells me what. I want to see if it tells me what she wrote. I'm pretty sure that it's the what. Hmm. No, neither of these. It lists two books that Veronica Roth wrote, so I might be completely off on that. But I really thought she. I mean, not the Hunger Games, but the Divergent. I really, for some reason, I had in my head that she wrote the Divergent series, but I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. Anyway, I got the Golden House by Salman Rushdie. I've I want to read the Satanic Verses. I think there's another one that of Rushdie's books that makes a lot of lists. He might have even won a Pulitzer one year. I'm not sure. I'll be finding out. But anyway, the Golden House by Salman Rushdie. I got a Brandon Sanderson book. I hear a lot about Sanderson. I'm not much of a fantasy reader. This one doesn't really look like a fantasy book. It looks more like a demonic slash psychosis type thing, which might be up my alley. But this one's called Legion by Brandon Sanderson, and then I got The Mirror and the Light, a cool cover by Hilary Mantel. So those were Dollar Tree grabs. And the only other stuff I got, I went to a Goodwill. I just ran in real quick. Let me situate these. And really, when I go in there now, like I'm not really. I used to go in there and buy like a lot of stuff, and most of it was for like reselling, like on Pango. Like I would buy stuff that I didn't need, but stuff that maybe I knew I could sell, And I don't really do that anymore. But like if I go in there, it's either going to be, I'm going in to see if somebody's accidentally dropped off a copy of the Bachman books, or if somebody's, liquidated their collection of vintage science fiction or something like that. But when I went there this time, really, it was just about kind of, for the most part, it was about grabbing books that I'd already read but did not currently own a copy of. So I got the latest hardcover, A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I read this and then dumped my copy somewhere. So I'm back at that place where, I mean, I know that, I mean, I'm not going to go out and pay big money to buy every book I've ever read to put on my. I mean, because basically this shelf behind me is all the books I've read, but also my wife and I have consolidated. So a lot of her books are in here too. And we're at the point where we're going to put two more shelves just like these. Although these Billy bookcases are kind of hard to come by right now. I like our local IKEA like never has them in stock, and I don't have a local IKEA. It's like an hour and 20 minutes away, so we always try to check the availability. Like on a Saturday morning, we're like, hey, if they got them, we'll go up there. But they haven't had them. So anyway, but our goal is to get at least some similar bookcases to these to go right there. I've got space between the windows for two of them, and again, this is all the red books. If it's behind me, it's because I've read it. And I mean, I've got a shit ton of books in other places in the house, but this is the red book. So I didn't own a copy of this, and so I grabbed that. I mean, $1.59 for a nice hardcover. So and then a couple other books that I picked up that I've read. but I didn't own a copy of Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. I grabbed that, and then I grabbed a paperback copy of The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I read that and didn't have a copy. So, and then just on a whim, like when I go to those eBay sellers that do like the buy three get one free, like I'll usually again I get there because there's a book that I want, and then I go try to fill out the order to get the free book, and I'll generally like just search horror in their hold on, sorry. I'll generally just search horror in their inventory, and Natasha Preston always comes up. Like she's always in those listings of their horror books, and I've never bought one, but again, this is $1.59, so I got The Cabin by Natasha Preston. I don't know that I'll read it. I might read it, or we're going to find out. So, and then there was a graphic novel that piqued my interest. This is called The Lost Boy. It looks like it's kind of a YA graphic novel, but it looks dark. I mean, all the art is like black and white. Um, but it's called The Lost Boy, and it's by Greg Ruth. So I grabbed that. And that's really it. Went to Goodwill, went to ran in the Dollar Tree. Didn't really go to any like real bookstores this week. Got the Netanyahu's by Joshua Cohen. Again, that's my next Pulitzer read. That's going pretty well. Like I have enjoyed um, the Pulitzer books so far. So I mean, I know that I'm, you know, I'm getting very close to Colson Whitehead's The Nickel Boys. I think is coming up. I've got a stack here behind me. Of some other ones that I know I'll be getting into in the next. I don't know how. I put a bunch of these like going almost all the way back to 2000 on my list. Now, I know the Goldfinch by Donna Tartt's on there, but I believe that's like 2013 or 14. So I got a ways to go if I'm actually going to do them in order. But fairly soon I'll be doing the Juno Diaz and the Jeffrey Eugenides. Is that how you say it? Eugenides and the um, Michael Chabon. So anyway, so trying to get through these Pulitzer books this year, at least back to I don't know. I said I was going to do one a month. It feels like I'm on pace to do two a month. So I could get if I continue on this pace. I mean, I could get back to like 2000 and have done all of the Pulitzer books from this century this year. So that's kind of the plan, I guess. Excuse me. All right. That's it. This has been WRB Beard. This has been Beard Book Talk. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying all your books, all of them, as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.